Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson along with Mitch English and Matt Doolittle. In today's roundtable, we are talking about Grammy Award-winning star Tyler, the Creator, and his mother and what she revealed to her son. Take a listen. His absent relationship with his father, and this is coming out as his new album Chromacopia debuts, but this reveals a much larger issue of parental alienation. Now, we're going to talk about this with our expert, Dr. Janie Lacy. She is joining us this morning to lend her expertise on this. But first, I'll start with Mitch and Matt. Matt, what do you think of this?
I mean, I think if she was trying to protect him, but if the guy was trying to be a good father and she just denied it, maybe she just had such hard feelings towards him that she didn't think about what it's doing to the kid.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what her mentality was.
Yeah.
Well, I think, too, he says, Tyler says, listen, my dad was not here, was not ever. And listen, divorce is never easy, no matter what. Somebody is going to miss out on it. But that's also the life that you were raised in.
Right.
So when you say that's your normal, more or less. So it's interesting to see.
Well, oftentimes, too, when it comes to divorce, either, sometimes parents take sides and they also want to involve the kids in taking those sides. So sometimes it takes a while to kind of dig through all of that. Dr. Janie Lacy, we want to know what you think about this parental alienation.
This is a very interesting conversation because in particular, when we're looking at this situation, it's often what we don't talk about, and that's the psychological impact on our children when mothers in particular intentionally block fathers that want to be involved post-separation or post-divorce. Many times we'll hear about the deadbeat father or he's not there. But there's a very sensitive issue that I think this is really bringing up for us. And this is when mothers are the ones that are blocking or preventing the involvement of the father. And it can have many different impacts on children.
You look at these statistics, we've got this number for you. I want to get your reaction. At least 3.9 million children in the United States are moderately or severely alienated from a parent.
When I hear those statistics, I think about what we see as far as family therapy, especially for children. When they grow up, we see the effects of these types of situations, right? We're seeing identity development issues, especially when there is a father that, in this case, where he thinks that his father doesn't want to be involved with him, then there's this internalization of rejection that can happen that becomes part of themselves. And then they struggle to understand that part of their identity of half of their story is missing. So if their mother is the primary one involved, then they're relying on her truth, her emotional regulation, her experiences, and they're missing another part of it, which then we see later on can affect a young person's self-esteem well into their adulthood when these types of dynamics are part of play. And we see also another development of unworthiness that happens because of that rejection wound or perceived rejection wound, I should say.
It seems like, okay, so you have a marriage, you're handing your marriage over to the court because you want a divorce and you want the court systems to figure it out for you. Really, that's what it comes down to sometimes when you don't have mediation and that sort of thing. And with that comes with some child support and that sort of thing. And it seems like, I'm not going to pick which mom or dad, but if child support is not being given, it seems like the custodial parent actually is sometimes, we have seen, will say, well, you don't pay child support, so you don't have to see the kid. What does that do for the children? Should it be bypassed and just let the law, because again, you handed how you're going to handle this divorce over to the court system. Is that the proper way? And maybe explain a little bit, but the best way to handle that situation.
Well, the example that you're giving, Mitch, is very dangerous because what she's doing is she's punishing, we'll just say her for the sake of the example.
Yes.
She's punishing the child. So if the father, for example, is not paying child support or for whatever reason, the funds is not coming through him, that's not necessarily for her. That's for the child. Okay. So for her to say, you're not paying the money to help me with the child, then you're not going to see him. That's only hurting the child. But most women will do that because they think they're punishing their ex-partner. If you don't want to be involved, you weren't a great partner to me, so I'm going to punish you. And that's very, very dangerous because what we'll see when they grow up, Mitch, is attachment issues, what we call attachment, right? So the sudden absence of a father figure, it's going to disrupt the healthy attachment development. And children learn to trust close relationships by what they see in our family system. So they can fear abandonment, especially we'll see that in men. Sometimes if the mother was overbearing, then if they're with a woman or a wife when they're older and she feels a little controlling or overbearing, right? These same dynamics can be at play because of those unhealed wounds. And that creates this anxious attachment pattern that's well into future relationships, and we know that they can struggle with all types of things like intimacy and commitment. So when mothers do that, or when a parent does that to punish the other parent, only person that's deeply going to hurt and wound for many years to come is that child. So it's not the way to handle it. It should be taken through the court system, and it should be done the proper way. And the child should still have access to both parents.
Makes a lot of sense that way. Indeed.
We always kind of refer to this saying as there's always three sides to the story, your side, my side, and the truth. And somewhere in all of that lies what's really happening. And oftentimes I think when you subject children to really adult situations like divorce, they're going to find out things are filtered through different perspectives from a mom and from a dad. And that causes a lot of division as well.
Janie, you always have great insight. We appreciate it. We'd
Thank
love to hear
you.
what our viewers have to say about this. We want you to sound off. You can go and leave a comment on our Instagram. And if it's good, we'll actually talk about it here on the show. Or you can also drop us an email. Head to dailyflashshow.com. There you'll find the sound off button. Press it. It comes right to us. We got more Flash coming up right around the corner. Today's trends, tomorrow's talk. You go anywhere, you miss out. So you don't want to do that. Stick around.